everyone. This is the October meeting of the Grosse Fire Commission. We'll begin our meeting by rising and pledging allegiance to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have a quorum tonight. Commissioners Kovalak, Corneffel, and myself are present. Clark Ute, our liaison, is present, and Chief Rusty Dallas Kelsey has been excused for a conflict. We'll move any additions and deletions to the agenda that you have before you.
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
We have a second to that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You have a copy of the minutes. There were a couple of corrections made, and you have new copies. They were just some minor corrections on approval. So substantively, they're as written. So when you've glanced at them, perhaps someone can give me a motion.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Expenses. When you received your expenses through the email, there were 2 pages missing. They've now been added. So, Rusty, do you want to go over the expenses?
Our expenses for September are in front of you there. Much like the month before, everything is business as usual,
As budgeted.
as budgeted, I should say. Thank you. We had a little more in arson education, schooling. That's just that's normal. Kevin's going through some schooling, so that's why that one's on there, a little bit high, but that's normal. And I think everything else is coming along where it should be, as budgeted.
Yes, I can see that some of the overages relate to our education, which we badly need. So, and hopefully, if the millage passes, that we'll be able to increase that budget to the appropriate amount. Okay, are there any questions on the expense report? If not, I'll ask for a motion to receive the report.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, let's move to the discussion items. Rusty, do you want to give your report?
New this month, we just started a new program, Olive Downriver, called E-Bridges. And what it is the way we contact the hospital when we are delivering a patient on the ambulance, previously and still in progress, we get on the radio, we make a radio report through HEMS radio, which is the medical radio to the hospitals. And we report the chief complaint of the patient, their vitals, their status, and our arrival time. And then the hospital, if need be, will give us direction on anything they want us to change. And from there, we proceed with delivering the patient to the hospital. E-Bridges is a new program that's being rolled out by HEMS. They are the ones that control the radio. And what it is now is we're going to a computer-based way of reporting to the hospitals. We send a computer report in with the vitals to let them know that we're coming. And this should take some of the excessive calls off the radio operators that are at HEMS right now. They are being inundated with medical calls to the hospital, and for one or two people, they're handling quite a few calls in an hour time, and they're getting overloaded. By this new program that's just been rolled out, it should take 80% of the calls and allow it to go through this computer program to the hospitals. They can call us back on this program. It's pretty interesting. The radios are still in effect. They'll be in effect for at least 2 more years if something happens where this computer program crashes or goes down, or somebody's not comfortable with it yet. But the opportunity is out there to use both. And again, it's technology. Our first try was October 1st. That's when they first allowed it. There has been a few glitches, but anything new, it takes a little while to get the bugs out on both sides. And so far, it seems that the firemen are liking it, and a little slow to get using it, but they're using it. So it should be an overall performance increase for all our citizens across the island and for everybody downriver. The program was used last year in Oakland County, and Oakland County liked it a lot. Also, it's been used out in California. That's where it started. And they've been using it out there for a number of years now. So we're updating and moving forward here.
Any comments or questions for Rusty? If not, you want to move on to the run reports?
Run reports. As you can see, we have our list of calls in front of you there. Our calls continue increasing every month. They keep us busy, and that's the reason we're here. The call volume continues to go up, and our firemen are dedicated to serving the people of Groseal. We're here for the people.
And Chief, as I noticed, again, as you've pointed out to me before, the ratio of calls for medical assistance versus calls related to fire is quite a big difference. We've become much more of a department for emergency medical assistance in many ways.
Yes, our our medical calls are probably 3 or 4 to 1 fire call, and without a doubt, our populace here and across America, they're relying more and more on the fire department for a whole vast array of different things. 50 years ago or 70 years ago, the fire department put out fires, and what they did, their niche was a small niche. It has grown to just about everything out there. There's water rescue, high angle rescue. I could go to school for the rest of my life and still not have half the classes of the things that they're teaching for us to safely rescue the citizens. Every year we do more and more, and then that's the nature of our business.
And looking through the medical report, they seem just sort of the usual stuff. Just a question on these motor vehicle accidents. Were these injuries serious, or?
One of the motor vehicle accidents that's on there was the gravel hauler that drove through the house. So that was a serious call, yes. Everyone's aware of it. It happened last September, but we had a gravel hauler that drove right through the house. We had the occupant inside the house. She was trapped under the gravel hauler, and we had to excavate her out and get her out safely into the hospital. The good news is there was no deaths. She's going to be okay. She's going to have to go through a few things, but she's alive. She's got all her limbs. Everything is good, and we are so happy that what could have been a terrible, terrible incident turned out okay, where our people, our citizens, are going to be all right with time. And I'm just so happy that it didn't turn out worse. Our guys did a wonderful job, amazing job. The calls when they first came in, it was a little confusing. As the calls were coming in, they didn't really say the depth of what had happened, and we were piecing things together as we came along. So overall, again, there was no fatalities, and we're very happy that that everything turned out as well as it did. We wish it never happened, obviously, but our guys did a great job, and we worked together with Riverview. We called in for a paramedic ambulance, and everything went well. As to be expected, as well as to be expected.
Great, thank you, Rusty. Any other comments or questions? Okay, you want to move on to the open house?
Our open house was last weekend. We had absolutely beautiful weather. The open house itself was a huge success. A lot of happy, smiling little faces. The kids had a tremendous enjoyment. They loved it. They were running around playing with the fire trucks. We had an obstacle course for them. We had a fire hose for them to spray. I can't say enough of the families of the firemen that worked so hard to make this open house a success. Everyone that was there that worked hard to make it a success, I can't thank them enough. I mean, across the board, there were so many wives that cooked baked goods, things like that, for our bake sale to help. It really shows how much they care about the fire department. It was just amazing, the effort that these people put in, and how hard everyone worked. Thank you very much. I just want to say thank you to the people that worked to make this a success. It wasn't just one day. They put several days in before, and the day of, they were there. They were entertaining everybody. Cutting up the cars is hard work. All of the work. I was just amazed at the wives at how much energy and work it really showed what their opinion is of this department. I was very grateful for what they did. Again, I can't thank them enough. I can't thank the citizens enough. Everybody, I had a lot of smiling faces, a lot of good conversations. They came out, they got to go through the trucks. The kids, my grandson was there. He had a riot. And so, so many young kids there. And I think it was nothing but fun for all. Very grateful.
That's good. Would you pass on to the department the thanks of the commission?
I will.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to say a few words about the open house.
Sure, go ahead.
It was my first time attending as a commissioner and as a liaison. I was very proud to do so. Most of our board members were able to attend, and they were also very obviously pleased to meet the people, to see everything involved. But I just have to say, Chief, the involvement of the families, as you pointed out, I think that's it's a huge element to the success of our department, because the spouses, the husbands and wives of the fire volunteers are committed to the project as much as our volunteers. And I think that's what it takes to keep people connected, is that, when they're making all these runs on holidays and evenings and weekends, that the family members understand why and how, and that their sacrifice and their participation is also appreciated. And I was talking with one of the volunteers, Allison, and our community rec chair, Chad, came by, and he had a T-shirt on, and on the back it says, "It takes an island." And we laughed about it. Remember, we really think that in terms of for the success of our volunteer fire department, it takes the families and it takes the island. And it was just an absolutely delightful event. And I have to say, Allison's pies were out of this world. So we're just going to try to keep growing the involvement and showing our appreciation. And again, it was just really reaffirming to see our community come together like that. And like you said, all the young families, all the kids, and there were some bigger kids there too, and some of us old folks felt like kids a little bit for a while. So, but the plastic fire hat didn't fit. Maybe next year we could, no, I'm kidding. Just being silly. So thank you again to everybody on the fire team, the volunteers, the spouses, the kids. One of the kids was actually running the charge machine. These are things these kids will never forget, and they will teach them leadership and commitment and all these things that we hope for in the future. So it was just absolutely awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, our firemen, they really showed how much their dedication and love to this township and the citizens, with the effort that they put in to be there. They're not just there because they have to be. They truly enjoyed being there, and it really showed how much it meant to them and how they wanted to show how important the community is to the firemen. Thank them all. I can't thank everyone enough.
Okay, thank you, Rusty. Thank you, Uta. I want to move on to the millage.
Our next item, coming up in November's election, we have a millage coming up for the fire department. We're asking for a 0.75 mil increase, and that's to help with the operations of the fire department. The operations is our expenses to run the fire department: electricity, gas, insurance. Without a doubt, insurance is our biggest expense. All these expenses have continued to increase, as everyone's well aware of, over the years. And this millage is very important for us to keep the operation of the volunteer fire department going on. So we ask for your...
If you're interested in more information on the millage, you can look it up on the township website, and please feel free to call Chief Beaudry or the staff of the department or any of us commissioners if you have questions.
Okay, thank you, Rusty. We have no action items, and I don't see anyone here from the public, so we are concluding our business, and I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Support.
Favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Meeting adjourned 6:17. Thank you all.